able to participate in any of these three. T1s, a little bit different. Guilds are still developing, right? It's very unlikely a T1 guild's going to be able to hold 75 participants, right? Maybe 50 at maximum. Usually 30. So you don't really see T1 guilds advocating for 50-man Node Wars. So that can be overlooked. But in the uncapped regiment, they need to be able to go down to 30-man Node Wars for uncapped. He's absolutely correct. Okay. If you're going to make any fight involve 75 players from a guild, then it should be the one with capped gear. True, because there are more people that can participate in capped than uncapped, or feel that they can participate in that. Since this will allow for involvement of any guild with more than 75 players. But for some reason, 75-player fights are only available with uncapped gear. Yep, that's because the developers don't understand how guilds work, which significantly reduces the amount of guilds capable of participating in the fight. There are very few guilds left in the game capable of pulling 75 people to a fight. I'd say there's maybe 3. The majority of guilds won't be able to fill a 75 slot, never mind 75 geared people. Yeah. I think most people enjoy smaller fights and would prefer if they weren't in any fights over 50 players. I genuinely feel that the uncapped fights should be smaller fights, 30 man, because most guilds in the game are capable of finding 30 reasonably geared people in their roster. And the uncapped fights should be could be some of the larger fights. You could also rotate the caps so people can enjoy fighting different regions instead of fighting in the same area every day. Well, we've been asking for that for years. And they rotate the regions once a year. It needs to be rotated once every 3 months or so. Absolutely correct. And this is all absolutely correct. Yep. Conquest. Oh, God. I honestly don't know what you want to do with this. Conquest has felt bad for a long time. You're either left with a situation where it's impossible to attack a castle because the advantage is given to the defender, or there's so many people that it's impossible to defend the castle because of the lag. Here's a link from Divios' stream from the most recent siege on August 17, 2024. Not even gonna bother. It's, yeah. Everything is going great until too many people are in one area. Eventually it becomes too much for the server to handle, and your hits stop connecting. Okay. Put all of the servers in a unique instance. When Siege starts, all of the Balanos 1, Calvion 1, Medaya 1, Valencia 1, all instanced. That. Just make those instanced all the time. You can only join those if you're yesed up for Node Wars. Literally that simple. Node Wars and Siege lag less. There's no loser Tuvala Timmy who's just trying to AFK process on the channel. You don't have to worry about it. We see the same thing happen with War of the Roses. War of the Roses is way less laggy than Siege is most of the time because it's on its own server. It would help dramatically. But this is not hard, guys. If we decrease the overall number of channels, we take 5 channels away, right? Calvion, Balanos, Medaya, Valencia, right? That's it. That's it. Who cares? Nobody's gonna give a shit. If anything, it helps open world PvP because it makes more of a competition for resources. But yeah. 300 versus 300, War of the Roses, so laggy. It's not nearly as bad as Sieges. Don't even get me started. War of the Roses is at least more spread out, right? There is some lag in War of the Roses, but it's not even close to what we've experienced in Siege. It's dramatically less. Eventually it becomes too much for the server to handle, and your hits stop connecting. You keep getting please try again. And Show Nation is holding well until this starts to happen, and as soon as it does, it becomes impossible to defend. That was our strategy against Show Nation for a long time. That was my strategy in Dismantled. Like, that's what we would do. Guilds were terrified. Barcode used to be terrified of Dismantled. Not because we were stronger than Barcode, we weren't. It's because I could pull 13 T1 guilds and just zerg people out of the castle. Like, that was my strategy. I'd just be like, all right, well, we're just going to bring 30 guilds and zerg you out of the castle, and then we're going to have our own setup fight. Get the fuck out of here. That's what we would do. So then Barcode started placing forts on the region to block the placements of the other guild. It was crazy. What a time to be alive that was. At least there were guilds alive to block. You know what I mean? Now it's not even worth blocking. I think this problem was somewhat masked in the early stages of Black Desert because there was some friendly fire. So if guilds tried to push a castle defender together, then it would hit. Then they would hit each other and get thinned out quicker. Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I'll be honest. I don't know how you fix this. You don't. Without a complete siege rework, you don't fix this. And this one really upsets me because North American EU communities felt as if Perlibus spat in our faces. Korea experienced this issue for the first time in a cross-region siege and completely lost their minds, and Perlibus immediately responded. Fucking true. True. Korea lagged one time in a global siege that even remotely resembled what we get every Saturday. They lost their marbles, and Perlibus put out like 4 addresses. They were like, we're so sorry. We completely up. We're working to fix it. Oh my God. Like, actually just insane. Literally insane. Dude, we've been experiencing this for years and still experience it, but hear nothing. I will say the central servers have gotten better for sure. The central servers are better than the other servers. But it's still there. I remember the first UN podcast. The Koreans started out, they were like, we get lag too. Stop complaining about lag. Oh my God. All NA and EU, lag this, lag that. And then we showed them what a siege looked like. They were like, we were like, this is our siege last Saturday. And they were like, never mind. This is the devil. Like, was like literally what I was seeing in the chat. Like, they were like, never, we're so sorry. Oh God. Wait, that's way worse. Holy shit, that would be complete. Why are you guys still playing this game? That's completely unplayable. Like, yeah, it is. I'd like to think if this was fixable, that it would have been done. It would have been done by now. But it's likely that PA thinks that they fixed it because my knowledge is Korea doesn't experience it during their local sieges. I think that central servers were a step for PA trying to fix it for us. They were. So I'll give them credit where credit's due there. But they needed to go one more step further. Just make all of Node Wars and Siege instance servers. It will help dramatically. You're never going to get rid of lag completely. That's a folly. That's a fool's errand. Okay. But like making them instance servers at least gives you a fighting chance. It at least makes it a lot better than what it is now. Makes it reasonably playable. Red Battlefield and mechanics. Oh, the extra stats you get in Red Battlefield are nonsense. I still don't know why you get DR as your HP goes down. Extra defensive stats disproportionately make geared players feel harder to kill than it does for newer players. So it widens how large the gear gap feels. This should be removed. Yep. Also, in regards to Valencia, it's not going to help though. RBF's just dead. In regards to Valencia RBF, the debuff areas are obnoxiously bad. It feels as if they were designed to stop players from running a full defensive setup and sitting on a point, making it near impossible to capture a point. But all this debuff areas do is create a worse problem. Now, you'll have people with highly defensive builds sit on the enemy team's point with no desire to capture it, but because of the debuff on the enemy, they can still get kills while being near unkillable. This causes most Valencia Red Battlefield matches to be one-sided, with one team or stuck at their home point. These debuff zones for controlled points create more problems than they solve and should just be removed. Also, a lot of these mechanics are hidden. New players have no idea what's going on, and there's no description in the game to find how the system works, just leaving them in the dark. Guys, the trick to fixing Red Battlefield. Guys, I'm rank 5 RBF. Holy shit, is that a clip right there? I am a rank 5 RBF. Blue Squadron. Blue Squadron is rank 5 RBF. I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would see the day. I'm a rank 5 RBF. You're crazy. Holy shit. There's another reassembled member. Reassembled PvP guild? There are people with 4 kills in RBF that are top 30 on the server. This game mode is dead. RBF, I'll be honest, they could remove it. Most people aren't going to care. Actually, no one's gonna care. I take it back. No one gives a shit. All the PvPers stop playing. There's no one left. There's literally no one left. Like all these endgame PvPers that liked Avi, gone. They're gone. Gear caps in general and balancing. Prohibitus has created an absolute balancing nightmare for themselves. I'm not talking about the class. I'm not talking about it at a class level. Any rational person can acknowledge that with there being more specs in the game, there are with there being more specs in the game than there are cards and a deck of cards that we will have issues with class balance. That's true. There are more class specs in the game than there are like cards in a deck of cards. But to make this issue significantly worse, we have the massive variety of what seems to be arbitrary caps that makes or breaks some classes. Some classes feel very different depending on which cap you're fighting on. So how are you supposed to address class balance when classes feel different depending on what cap they're on? How do you balance the game when you have all these caps or different feeling game modes? Balanos Serenia caps, Medaya Valencia caps. I'll be honest. I don't really know T1 Node Wars. Here's a hot take. I feel like a player can hit the Medaya Valencia caps in like 2 weeks of just reasonably active play. You're handed a Pen Blackstar. You're handed Pen armor. You're handed like full Tet armor and weapons for free. Then you've got Jatina pens. You got a guaranteed pen in that time period too. You're gonna get Confrus, right? So like the Medaya Valencia caps, I don't even know what T1 Node War caps are almost irrelevant. You can hit that on day one. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious because of how quickly we have accelerated players' progression. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but like if you're going to remove one of the caps, it should probably be Balanos Serenia. Calphia, Kama, Sylvia, Siege, uncapped, Red Battlefield, Hidden Stats, Medaya Siege, Trial Gear Seasons. Yep. Yep. I feel there should only be one cap, and in my opinion, the cap should be something like Balanos. You forgot about Balanos. Balanos is its own cap. Oh, wait, never mind. You just included Serenia. Oh, no. You mean Node Wars. I mean Balanos Siege, guys. I think that Balanos Siege should be the only capped PvP in the game. I think it should be like Balanos Siege is cap PvP because it's lower than Medaya Valencia, but it's higher than T1 caps significantly, right? It's somewhere in the middle. Like it's really easy for new players to get to, and then like mid-game players can kind of optimize it a little bit. It's like kind of works for that for both parties in that regard. Like that should be the only cap in the game. Just do away with everything else. I think most people would agree that the Solaire cap is the best. Okay, that's okay. I take it all back. True. If the Arena of Solaire caps are on the table, he's absolutely right. Yeah, if we're gonna be willing to cap gear like Arena of Solaire, yes, that should be how cap gear works. 100%. I was thinking specifically for large scale. There's some things to be said about this cap, but I don't want to deviate from the main point. With caps like Solaire, where players can choose the gear that's considered roughly on fine with their pieces of gear, the current Node War and Siege caps that just add a hard limit. You could even give players the capped gear. Like if they want to participate in Node Wars, they just go up to the guild shop and just buy a set of capped gear for like 1 silver from the guild shop. And then just equip it. Like if you really want to make it accessible for new players, you can do that. Like passives that classes have without having the Solaire caps allow people to build gear against each other while maintaining these class differences instead of having them stripped away. Okay? I genuinely believe that if you only have uncapped and Solaire caps to balance around, that would make balancing classes a bit easier and add more consistency to how the game feels in different modes. It would also be easy to understand for new players if they just had the same Solaire gearing setup to use for all capped content. It's true. I completely agree. Yeah, one cap would be way better than what we have currently. Yes. True. But I'll be honest with you, the biggest problem with balance, guys, is not that we have a bunch of game modes or that they're struggling to balance around these game modes. It's that they don't balance. Okay, I always describe balance in the same way. Balance is like a snow globe. Okay. At the beginning of the season or at the beginning of the year, the developers shake things up, right? And there's a lot of different snowflakes all floating around in the snow globe, right? Maybe there's a statue in the middle. Maybe there's a statue in the middle. Okay. As the season goes on or as the year progresses, the developers start to balance things. They hotfix things, they patch things out. And as the snowflakes start to settle, you get a very clear picture of what the new metagame in the game looks like. And at this point, you have your big, like, world style tournament, like League of Legends does. For us, it would be like best in guild or best in class, right? And in this way, you get to see who has mastered the current metagame. Then at the start of the year again, you simply shake up the snow globe again with a bunch of new changes, and you repeat the process. It makes it very interesting for players to have to figure out the metagame. It starts to balance over time. What we have are developers that know how to shake up the snow globe, so we get these really big patches where they're changing all sorts of things, like the DR and evasion patch. And then we don't see any changes for months. So, like, it would be like a snow globe that never settled, right? So you never get a clear picture of what the metagame really looks like, right? Like, our problem with our balance team is that they're not actually balancing. They're not actually, like, trying to adjust things. We see, like, one or two adjustments, and then they just move on, and then that's it. And that's just not enough. It's just not enough. That's my personal take on balance. I don't feel like they adjust enough. I feel like they have the snow globe model, like, half figured out. Half figured out. Solaire and Guild League consistency and rewards. Oh boy, a lot of players love both Guild League and Solaire, but are absolutely frustrated with both reliability and availability, and also the rewards. Seems like a simple solution, but maybe it needs to be said. I'll be honest with you. If Guild League had as good of rewards as Node War does, or did, there would be a lot of people that did Guild League. If they were half as good as Node War was, you'd see people that, like, did Guild League much more frequently. It lasts as long as Node War does. It's a 20-minute fight. That's longer than most Node Wars nowadays. First, consistency. 1.5 months of Solaire followed by 1.5 months of Guild League. All alternate these like clockwork, so people have something to look forward to and practice for. Agree. Having these game modes disappear for nearly a year will do nothing but drive people away. Completely agree. Another W, Zethian. Common Zethian W. Second, rewards. We can talk about proper monetary rewards until we're blue in the face, but it's clear Prolibus are avoiding it at all costs. Not true. They seem to get it with Node Wars. Let's see, the Node Wars system, this new Node Wars system, it's their baby. Guys, they can see that it's failing. They see that it's floundering. They see that we're not happy with it. They absolutely do. That every region is not happy with it. But it's their baby. They developed it on a whiteboard in an office. And they really want it to work. And do you know how I know that? Because they gave the rewards for it. Absolutely obnoxious rewards. Okay? When they care about a game mode and they really want you to do it and try their new content, they give you some rewards to back that shit up. They don't give a about Guild League, they don't give a about Solaire, and they certainly don't give a about RBF. The systems have been in the game now for a while, except for Guild League, which is relatively new. Right? True. Honestly, why don't we just make Guild League its own standalone game? I don't understand the mentality that grinding is considered work.
Just resubscribed for 5 months. I love this game so much. I will P2W blue.
Thanks, buddy. Welcome back for 5 months, man. Really appreciate that. Almost at the 6-month badge. Yes. Pay to win easy. In the Blue Squadron chat. I don't understand the mentality that grinding is considered work, therefore it should be considered more rewarding than PvP. Yeah, I would completely agree. I think that rewards in BDO should be increased depending on the activity level of what you're doing. Grinding is an extremely high activity level and deserves very high rewards. PvP is also extremely high activity level and also deserves extremely high rewards. It's very simple. They do this with life skilling. Life skilling is relatively low activity level when you compare it to the other like PvE and PvP, and like it gets lower rewards as a result. Why they won't do this with PvP is absolutely beyond me. What you need to realize, Perlibus, is that you should be rewarding people for the time spent actively playing your game. True. Whether it's PvE content or PvP content, yes. It should be equally rewarding if it's something that has to be actively done. Holy guys, you think that I pre-read this? You think that I pre-read this? You should look at this as rewarding for your community and playing your game. True. Not looking at it as rewarding people for working in your game. Yep. And also, PvP requires the most consumables too. It's not like you're also losing the most money PvPing too. Like PvE does require consumables, yes, but typically you're using way more consumables like whale tendons and shit way more frequently in PvP. Like, what are we talking about? It costs more money, and I would argue it's even more active than PvE is, right? If people start to feel like this game is a job, they will move on. That doesn't mean some people don't enjoy grinding. As almost everyone knows, I am one of those people. Yeah. Underwater, bro. Crazy. I'd love to see Zethian's total kills on his mobs. But variety is in the spice of life, and giving people the opportunity to progress while doing an activity they enjoy will only help grow the community. Now, on the other hand, the community has shown time and time again that they're very quick to try to abuse and exploit things for their own gains. True. Can we exploit it and how? But this isn't a reason to punish the rest of the community for never adding this content. This just means that the system needs to be designed in a way that makes abuse easily detectable so that it can be punished. If the community knows that there's a good chance that they will be caught or punished for abusing systems, then this will deter the vast majority of potential abusers. It's true. It's true. I've seen way less chat abuse. You know why? Because they get caught immediately. You say something stupid in chat, they just ban your ass. Literally just that simple. Way less toxicity. Now, after monetary rewards and cosmetic rewards, and this is a bigger and more important one in my eyes, having the same outfit and title every season just diminishes the value of the rewards as the season goes on. Well, boy, oh boy, Zethian, are you going to be happy about the Guild League rewards? Because, oh man, buckle up. Suslog, thanks for the Prime sub, but I appreciate you dropping it here. Yeah, the developers don't understand that having an exclusive title means nothing if everyone also has that exclusive title. The La or Zeka set, for example, is completely useless nowadays because everybody has it. Multiples of it. It diminishes the value of the item if everybody has it. That's how it works. Like, it needs to be a new title and a new outfit every season. It's literally just that simple. It would encourage players like who have gotten it in the past to do it again this season. So it encourages people to participate in the game mode. It's also the lowest effort you've ever seen in your entire life. And I know what the developers are going to say because I've spoken with them before. The argument against this, guys, and I'm not joking, this is the developers' argument against having a different title every time. Okay? They value giving the titles away in game that much. They don't want to give you a new title every time. They think it diminishes having a special title if there's too many special titles. That's what they think. Okay? So they try to minimize how many special titles are in the game. For like Arena of Solaire, for example, is the same title every season. The new Guild League rewards are a perfect example. It's the same title. It's always the same title. That way they only add one new title to the game and their precious little ecosystem of titles is preserved. That's stupid. Of course it's stupid. Somebody with mental illness and too many chromosomes thought it up. Like that's literally dumb. It's a title. It's a title. Lazy is what it is. Well, it's going to be seen as lazy. It's absolutely going to be seen as lazy. It's just that simple. They have it in their head that their game is so special, and it is. But their game is so special, and the titles are so special that they don't want to hand too many titles away because they feel it'll devalue everyone's titles. It's simply not the case. Having cool
I'm starting
titles.
to think J actually means janky.
Yeah, having cool titles. There could be 3,000 custom titles in the game, and I don't know about you guys. I'd love to like walk up to an adventure and be like, "Yo, how'd you get that title? That one's green. Yo, how'd you get adventurer? You know what I mean? Like, how'd you get angel? You know, like, how'd you get this? How'd you get that? Like, that would be cool. Doesn't devalue anything. Anything it increases, like you're like walking around. This is the title that I'm wearing, right? Like, holy moly. I had that with seasonal sensation. Yeah, see, like. It makes players that already won feel less incentivized to play later seasons because the rewards are the same. Exactly. Like, Divios doesn't want to play new seasons of Solaire because he's already got the Solaire title. Why the fuck would he want to do it, you idiots? What, do you think people are just going to come back and do the same thing? And again, this is because their definition of good PvP is just mindless bloodshed with no common goal. They don't care. Now I understand not wanting to make a new outfit every season. No, that's bullshit. They don't even have to make a new outfit every season. They could just dye it. This season, the cape is blue. This season, the cape is red. This season, the cape is green. It could be literally, this is low effort as We're not even asking for the world here. Just make it an undyeable outfit and make the cape different colors every goddamn season. It's not that hard. It ain't that hard. Also, the title Solaire Knight every season loses. Everybody has this title. I don't even think that people are good when I see this title. It's like, yeah, whatever, bro. I could get that too if I wanted to grind. You just wait for it to come out. No one gives a shit if you have Solaire Knight. Every season loses its value for the same reasons listed above. The titles don't have the cosmetic effect, but just feel something different every season so people can show off their achievements can go a long way. You could even be lazy and call it Solaire Knight Season 1, Solaire Knight Season 2. Stop. 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 Get Solaire Knight 1, Solaire Knight 2, Solaire Knight 3, Solaire Knight 4. He's not wrong, they could be. And it would be a big improvement. That way players can show off multiple seasons they've won, and specifically what seasons. Yeah. These seasons exclusive rewards also create a community connection point. Because let's be honest, I don't think we've had a season yet that hasn't had its own issues. But once players start to have rewards that show which season they earn them in, this allows them to connect about it and overcome each season. Oh yeah, because players can be like, oh, season 4. Oh yeah, man, you were in the trenches that season. Holy shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like the crashing that season was insane. Remember season 4 when 23 of the top 100 players were berserkers and Pluralist didn't see this as a problem? Bonding. Oh my god, he's right. These titles could help initiate conversations like players like these and remind people of their fondest memories of each season. Third, Solaire Customs and Spectator Mode. This is like a content creator request. This is kind of a different from the two other points, but worth mentioning because it is very simple. Spectator mode enables players to run events. There it is. You are sitting with potentially one of the best content creators at running tournaments in the MMO genre. Okay. And I'm not saying that, but look, I've watched WoW tournaments get run. I've watched Guild Wars tournaments get run. I've watched BDO tournaments get run. I've got some of the best production value that you're ever going to see across the whole genre. Okay, because our combat system is just that good. Like, it's literally just that simple. And it's not just me. Armin is really good at running tournaments. Other members of the community run tournaments as well, right? Your community wants to run these tournaments and has potential to do so. And it generates you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay? The visibility that people like me get off those tournaments reaches outside the BDO category, and you have people looking at it going, damn, this game looks kind of cool. I need to play this game. Then they spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on the video game. All you gotta do is give us the spectate feature. We're not asking for your support. I gave up on that years ago. You don't help me with events. When was the last time Pearl Abyss helped me with an event? What, are we joking? I get more help from Mythic Talent than I do from Pearl Abyss on my events. I'm just being honest, okay? It's just that simple, all right? Like, I get more help from Icon Digital than I do from PA. And that's fine, because I understand I've grown outside what Pearl Abyss feels comfortable supporting, okay? I run bigger events than the multi-billion-dollar company. I understand. You're terrible at running events. I'm better than you. I get it. I get it. I would feel bad too with the amount of money and resources that you have. Getting outdone in production value. That's crazy. That's insane. I wouldn't support me either. That's insane. It's insane that Blue Squadron had the biggest hyped PvP tournament of 2024. A community tournament. Community tournament. Okay? And no, Pearl Abyss did not support it. But in fairness, it was a huge community tournament. And my next event is too big. They can't support that either. I just like to run really big events. But it ain't even just about me. They don't support nobody. Not with a spectate feature. Not with anything. Bro, do you guys want to know the reason that recently Zethian, I think he's in the chat. Zethian, you want to know why they announced the partner awards for events recently? They were like, we just wanted to clarify what partners are able to get for events. You know why they did that? It's because I applied for help with my next event. They were like, yeah. So, no. Also, here's what we're going to be willing to do. All right? Like, that's it, okay? I don't blame them, necessarily. There is a limit to what Pearl Abyss is going to be able to do to support content creators, okay? But, like, a spectate mode costs you nothing but some development time. All right? Literally nothing but development time. All right? We're not asking for outfits. We're not asking for titles, which, by the way, also costs you nothing. We're talking about virtual currency. You won't even help yourselves. We have this new league, right? We have this new tournament league that Pearl Abyss came up with. It is definitely original, okay? We have this new league that they come out with. And every month, the rewards for these leagues aren't even including pearls. What are we doing? It costs you $0 and 0 cents to add pearls to the event. Oh my God, but 10,000 pearls, that's $100. That's $100 US dollars. That they would have spent otherwise. No, it's not. Nivios isn't going to spend $100 because he didn't win the tournament. Are you dumb? Like, adding pearls or outfits to the tournament simply just increases the value of the tournament while costing your company nothing. Literally nothing, okay? You take a really good idea that the CMs and GMs worked hard on copying from Armin, and you just don't deliver the rewards, and not enough people are going to do it, okay? It's a great idea. Really good job from the CM-GM team to develop that event and watch Armin's videos that carefully, okay? Really, really good. But the reason I know it's not our CM-GM team that's gatekeeping me, it's not our CM-GM team that's gatekeeping the creators, it's not our CM-GM team gatekeeping the spectate mode, and it's not our CM-GM team gatekeeping the new AOS league, okay? You know this because if they were in charge, I guarantee you that corruption would have added pearls or outfits to that event because they worked hard on creating it, okay? Absolutely, they probably tried. I'm just speculating wildly here. They probably tried. Do you know who stopped them? The Korean office is like, no, we don't want to support events that much. Guaranteed. It's the Korean office behind everything. I will guarantee that the North American CM-GM team advocates to support my events and fights for me every time. And they lose every time. So then they got to come back to me and be like, hey, Blue, sorry, we can't support this one either. And then I get mad, except I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the loser in the Korean office who won't support its own community's events that are going to raise it hundreds of thousands of dollars. They just don't understand the value. This spectate feature seems like such a small thing. It's so small, it's just a little thing. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you have any idea what Armin could do with a spectate mode? Do you know how many players he could encourage to play the game by showing AOS in spectate? Do you have any idea how much money I could make you if you just delivered this spectate feature? Like, this is something really small, and yeah, you're doing it for the community. You're doing it for yourselves. You guys stand to gain hundreds of thousands of dollars from just adding this simple feature. Millions of dollars. One developer working on this for maybe a week could get it done. Maybe a week, maybe two. How much did you pay that guy? Not nearly as much as you're gonna make off the feature. It's just that simple. Run the numbers. Tell me I'm wrong. Holy shit. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent. I know. I'm just so mad because I know Corruption and the other CMGMs. They go to their superiors and they're like, yo, Blue wants to run this really cool event. What can we do to help him? And their superiors are like, oh yeah, let's see what we can get done. And then they go talk to those people over sitting in the Korean office and they're like, nothing. That bald bastard. Like that literally, dude. Like, what are we doing? It's not even just me, bro. Holy moly. Oh my God. He asked me about my Bugatti. It's not even just me, though. Like, holy moly. Goodness gracious. This should be so important on Perlibus's list of changes because it feels so trivial, but would be massively impactful on how the community interacts with each other. So f***ing true! Armin had to jump through hoops to set up a Discord to try and manage this system, and it could have been made significantly easier if there was a spectate mode built into the game. Also, map selection would be a nice addition too. Holy shit. I mean, how crazy would it be if you could ban a map? Oh my God! Maybe in 2027. A pick ban phase? What the f? To be fair, even Onlay said that they went over that little community tournament. That was all they could do. Rewards allowed they were allowed to give. Yeah. So I'm just like, this is how Perlibus chooses to support community tournaments. Okay, so if let's say Engeli wants to run a tournament to 200 viewers, let's say 400 viewers. She is given X amount of support. Okay, and then let's say that Blue, wants to run a tournament for 2,500 viewers, and Blue is going to get X amount of support. And then let's say Seizing wants to run a community, or wants to run a tournament to 100 viewers. Okay, just for fun. Community tournament. Just, he's not really trying to organize it or be fancy with it. He's not really trying to hype it up or announce it in advance. He's just for fun. All right, so let's say he's predicting 100 average viewers for his tournament. Okay, not that he has more than that on average, but I'm just lowballing it just as an example. Okay, and he's gonna get X amount of support. The way that Perlibus sees how they should support these tournaments is backwards. Okay, Perlibus is going to give the same amount of support to Seizing as they're going to give to me, as they're going to give to Engeli. It doesn't matter what your viewership is going to be. It doesn't matter how much you've put into the tournament. It doesn't matter how much of your own money or production value is going into it, or what your viewership is going to be, or how big your viewer base is. None of that matters. All that matters is you're a partner and you're running a tournament, and we're going to give you all the exact same amount of support no matter what. So what this means, Perlibus, because I know you're watching, is it does not encourage someone like me to run a big event because I'm going to get the same amount of support Zane is for doing no work at all. I'm going to hype mine up, do hundreds of hours of labor, make the production value insane, invite all of these players, spend tens of thousands of dollars of my money. Well, not 10. I spent $7,000 US dollars on the last tournament, right? And I'm going to get the exact same amount that Zane did, and he didn't spend an hour of prep. Do you see why this is backwards? This is insane. This is madness. The way you should support tournaments should be based off the creator's investment. So if Zane wants to run a tournament that is, let's say Zane wants to run a $10,000 tournament. $10,000 US dollar prize pool tournament. Okay? And I want to run a $50 US dollar tournament prize pool. Well, Zane's going to get the exact same support from Perlibus that I do. That's where we're currently at. Okay? What I'm saying that they need to shift is it shouldn't be based on how big the creator necessarily is. Okay? I understand you want to try to help, like, encourage smaller creators to run big events, and you don't want to discourage people. I completely agree, right? You shouldn't just support me more because I have more viewers. That's stupid. I completely agree with that sentiment. It should be based on how much investment the content creator wants to put into their event. So if Zane wants to put up $10,000, Perlibus should match that support. They should be going all out. And if I'm putting up 50, they should be like, okay, well, Blue will throw you an outfit, but who gives a shit, right? Like, that's how it should be. Because then that encourages you to run bigger events, right? It's not based on how big of a content creator I am, and it's not all standardized, right? It encourages, like right now, our current system does not encourage you to run really big events. And you're wondering why your partners are so lazy. It's because you have created this, okay? You made a system where, well, you can either run a tournament, which is going to cost you hundreds of hours, or you can put on a fashion show tomorrow afternoon and get the same support. What are we talking about? Like, it's no wonder I'm the only person that wants to literally put up $5,000 US dollars for a tournament. Armin doesn't want to do that. Why would he? $500 US dollars, just flush it, baby. Why the would you? Doesn't make any sense. You need to rethink how you're supporting your creators' events. Plain and simple. And by the way, don't try and tell me that was a disrespectful way to explain it. That was as respectful as it's going to get. Before that conversation has to happen. Okay, that was a respectful way of saying it. Okay. This would also give your team of community managers significantly better tools to run their events. Yep. Even their community managers can't get support for their own events, guys. You understand that Corruption and Etsu and all them are coming up with this awesome, like, tournament league that they're going to spend, like, probably dozens of hours a month trying to create and run? They can't even get their own support. That's how I know it's not the CMGM team. It's not their fault. It's Korea's fault. Because they don't understand the value of this kind of thing. They don't understand the value of a spectate feature, right? They go above and beyond to try and interact and create events for the community despite having an obviously very limited tool set. Yup. I cannot speak highly enough about your CM team. Yeah. So, guys, understand that when I'm upset about, like, systems like this only exist because it's not our CMGM team that really is the problem. It's because Korea has no idea how to support like their creators and their community. They just don't understand the value. I would list names, but I don't want to accidentally leave any names out. You know who they are. Oh, it's just all our entire CMGM team. Even Polly, who's been currently banned from my chat because he talks shit about dogs. Like the CMGM team's great. I got no complaints. It's not them telling me no every time. The corruption goes to bat for me every time. So does Etsu. So does every other CM when I need their help. Ronan, oddly, right? But like, they can't do anything because the Korean execs just won't let them do anything. They can't support you. So no, event's too big. You can't do that. Presets. All-in-one presets are something that Prolibus announced in 2024, or announced for 2024. There's still time left for this to be added. I feel that this is one important change that should have been added earlier the year instead of later, but here we are. Ever since Prolibus has been making more and more difficult PvE content, it's been required for you to use PvE-focused gear on how... Oh, I'm sorry. To be more PvE-focused on how you build your gear, artifacts, lightstones, crystals, add-ons, and even buffs. You are at a massive disadvantage. And alternatively, if you decide to stand your ground and... And alternatively, if you decide to stand your ground and fight... Okay, so this should have been a comma. That's fine. Once you swap all of your gear, your different gear and add-ons to be more PvP focused, now you cannot kill the mobs. This has led, in general, to open world PvP feeling very bad. I agree. But also to Arsha feeling like a waste of time. This has also enabled players to cause you grief by coming out and attacking you while you're set up for PvE. You then have to take a few minutes to swap all of your different gears and buffs, go to the battle arena, or go to a nearby save zone to swap add-ons, just to come back to fight and have them leave because they weren't interested in fighting you when they're at a disadvantage. Oh, they were only interested in fighting at you when you were at a disadvantage. Yeah, again, guys, if the fight is not 5 attack speed and 5 move speed, it's not the fight that we agreed on. Now you have to take the time to go back and swap everything back just so you can start grinding again for the other person to show back up. Yup. I typed all this out in one sitting. I thought it was going to be a couple pages, and it ended up being a lot. It ended up being 11. And it's single space too, bro. This is like size 11 font. Like, literally size 11 font. This has caused players a lot to feel as if PvP channel is not worth the hassle because you aren't even given the opportunity to fight back. And even off-channel Arsha has made grinding disputes feel like a waste of time since these players aren't there for a fight, but are actually just trying to frustrate you enough so that you can leave. Pretty much, yeah. That's why I said the Arsha events should be held on, like, Pirate Island. Not Paddocks, Pirate Island. Sawsons, Helms, right? Abandoned Iron Mine, right? All of the one-shot spots so you can have your full PvP loadout engaged the whole time. And if someone comes to PvP you, you are locked and ready to go. Because you're one shot in the mobs anybody. Nobody cares. Okay? You buff Sawsons to be 4 billion silver an hour for 1 week, but only on the 2 Arsha servers. Competition for resources. One-shot mobs, meaning you can grind in PvP gear set. Massive potential. Then you rotate it to Helms the next week. Then Elric Shrine, then Abandoned Iron Mine, then Pirates, then Mains, then Wandering Roads. Just keep rotating it around. Makes use of all that dead content that you don't want to use. Someone said change all the mobs to human on Arsha. No, it's still not going to work because you still got your add-ons is our problem. Your crystals you can run human damage, sure, but you're still going to be running the human damage crystals are different than PvE human damage. So like PvP human damage and PvE human damage are 2 different things. You're going to be running 2 different crystal setups. And so like you got to change your crystals, you got to change your presets, you got to swap to Nuver, right? Like there's all kinds of shit you got to do even in that case, right? PvEers crying in chat, you, it's not for you. The only complaint I've seen to that event is, oh, then they'll just gatekeep it from me. Get stronger, pussy. No one cares. Like, that's how it used to be. That's how open world PvP used to be. I used to go to Elric Shrine, not because it was good for my health and grind 6 million silver an hour, not because it was good for my health, but because that's where all the people I could kill were. Because you rolled up on someone. There was no DFS. There were so many people playing. You're just walked in. You're flagged. You're sending. A white dot walks on the minimap. So anyway, I started blasting. Okay. And you killed that guy. And it wasn't anything personal. You're just trying to grind. And you certainly aren't going to follow him to the next server because you got to defend this new. Now you're like, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, because you got other people coming in trying to contest your spot. Competition for resources. Small amount of grind zones, small amount of servers, large amount of players. Now we have huge open world with many grind zones, Marnie's Realm, many servers, lower server swap cooldown. There's no competition for resources. All PvP feels personal. So remove that. Just make it the 2 Arsha servers and significantly buff 1 grind zone a week on those Arsha servers, preferably at the one-shot mob locations where people can just go and reminisce about old times and wear their full PvP loadout the whole time. That way it's just a clown fiesta. There won't be gatekeeping. No one's going to be able to lock that shit down. I don't give a who you are. It's going to be a clown fiesta. It'll be fun. For the higher gear people, I understand, but like the event is really not for the mid-tier PvEer, okay? And honestly, it could be. Just make it seasonal Arsha too. Fuck it. Seasonal Arsha gets it too. Clown Fiesta. Now you've encouraged PvP for new players too. How fun would that be? Fuck it. Like, holy shit. There's so much potential here. Anyway, there's 2 solutions to this. Give us the ability to have 2 different setups active. One that's active against mobs and one that's active against against players. Give us the ability to set up an all-in-one preset that ties it all together and swaps it all at once. Giving us one of these 2 options will make defending yourself open world feel a lot less aggravating. I mean, that's true. I think they are working on this. I think the gear loadouts is probably a high priority for them. And the reason I say that is because this exists. This life skilling shit, this is what your gear loadouts are going to look like, but for your gear and like your presets and your crystals are all going to be down here. And you can set up all your gear, presets, artifacts, and all that shit is all going to be down here. And you can set it up ahead of time, and there's going to be like 5 different like presets that you can do, and you can just click bam, and then you're in that preset. I'll almost guarantee this is exactly what it's going to look like, but we'll see. Guild decks and the content it brings. Okay, yeah, this is a hot topic. I'll give my take on it before I read it to see if they're similar. I think that the one-sided deck changes never needed to happen if they just had enforced their TOS to begin with. I'll be honest. If they had just... The amount of toxic PvP that was occurring from the one-sided deck changes was reasonably high, but you could have just banned those people that were abusing the system without removing it. You have protection. You could have just said, okay, if you're under protection, you can't even be flagged on. You just can't be PvP. Okay, well, there you go. It can only be like 5 people in a guild anyway, so who gives a shit? Like, okay, well, that guy doesn't want to be PvP. Okay, so make the protection system useful, and also make it so that like the one-sided deck system actually works the way that it's supposed to, right? Guilds that don't want to be decked on can't be decked. Don't let people exploit the system like Shark Attack. You know what I mean? It's literally just that simple. But instead they chose to rip out one-sided decks altogether, which I said, again, totally fine. As long as you follow it up and make sure that PvP is going to be okay after the fact. Instead, what they did was they ripped out one-sided decks and then just nuked Karma into the ground. And now there's just no open world PvP at all. You just can't do anything. Nothing. Even if you want to. There's just nothing there. The removal of the one-sided decks in the name of reducing griefing had 0 impact on it. I think that's wrong. I think it did have an impact on reducing griefing. It just also reduced all PvP. It punishes 99% of the player base. I agree. That used to be in the guild deck system because the 1% abused it. True.
Phantom 115 cheered Dex 100. Blur, it's so simple.
Yeah.
The crystal thing is easy. They already have a system like that. So look at a skill and see the PvP only flags for effects. Just add that to crystal effects, and you can create PvE PvP hybrid crystals.
Yeah, when you alt C, you flag. Like it turns it on. I don't know if I would agree with that necessarily, but like he's absolutely right. They punished 99% of players for what 1% was abusing, and they could have just enforced their TOS. Like, oh yeah, that's very clearly an abuse of the one-sided deck system. Instead, what we got was our CMGM team getting orders from Korea that say, yeah, well, technically that's in the game, so tough shit, Blue. We're going to give all the people hunting you value packs to encourage it in the future. That's what we used to get, unless, of course, you were a Korean streamer, in which case you got help immediately. Oh, there it is. Boom, you're going to go. And the 1% just finds new ways to grief. Exactly. That's the problem. You have to enforce your TOS. Just enforce the TOS on the 1% of players, and the rest of the 99% don't have to suffer. Now they just grind over you, and there's nothing you can do about it but swap. At least in the past, you could throw up a war deck and fight them for spots for once for declaration came through, and hope that you are stronger. I'll be honest, I don't even have people grind over me anymore. You can't have people grind over you if no one's playing the game. In my opinion, they could squash that too. Dekia spots only drop loot for the person that popped the lantern. Done. Can't grind over shit anymore, right? They could do that too, but again, we're stepping kind of in the wrong direction here, right? You can make as many changes to the game as you want. They're just going to keep finding new ways to grief your ass. Okay? I would know. I've been dealing with it for years. All right? Like, just ban them. It's not hard. You don't even have to permanently ban them. Just ban them for like a week. Ban them for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be permanent. Just slap them on the wrist. Make it so that they know, hey, you shouldn't be abusing our systems like that. Holy shit. Not everyone else has to suffer. I also think it's important to note that a lot of situations that started over 1v1 grind disputes would trickle upwards all the way up to siege. 2 people would fight over a grind spot, one would win, and then the other would call a friend to gain an advantage. Then the other guy would call 2 friends. Then the first guy would call a few more. In Vertex, what we would do is we would put someone out there like me, who's like bait, right? I'm like that bottom bitch. It's like low-hanging, supple fruit, okay? And I would just go out, and then all the Vertex members were like, they're crouched in the bushes like the Viet Cong, just like, hold up, wait. And then one of the Black Rose members would come and gank me, and then one of the Vertex members would be like, happy to see you, but only one. But only one. He didn't want to go too hard. She'll circle them away. They're like wounded wildebeest. You don't want to scare them. You got to bring them in. You got to bring them in. Okay? So we just have one guy stand up and run out and start fighting. Like, oh shit. We just bring 2 more people. We've got this shit. They bring 2 more people. 3 more guys stand up. How you doing? Okay? Like, and you would escalate it. You would just escalate it until you got to a point where Black Rose has 80 people and Vertex has 80 people, and it was a complete clown fiesta. All right? Like, that's how it was. Barcode did the same thing. Barcode did the same thing. I would finish streaming. This is when I used to maul when people would stream snipe me. Now I don't do that anymore. I have a different approach to it now. But like, Barcode literally told me, blue. Just let it happen. Just don't swap. All right? Just let them come get you. All right? We got you. Trepex of all people. We're like, don't worry, Blue. We're coming. We're coming, little Blue. We're coming, little brother. And they would just crouch and they would just wait in the bushes. And they would just sit there waiting for a crawling chaos member to do something stupid. And then they would just run them the down. Like, and then they'd be like, oh, we just bring 1 more person. And then that's how it would escalate. Like, I was used as bait in God knows how many guilds. I can still bait myself. If I swap to Arsha right now, I can summon 100 players. I demonstrated this a couple days ago. I said, just let me go around a couple times on Arsha, let it happen. And sure enough, here they all come. That's crazy, bro. God, I wish that my purpose in PvP guilds wasn't just sitting on a couch. But I do my part. In fairness, I do my part. I bring your guild more PvP than it ever had before just by existing in the guild. That's just how it is. At least that's how it used to work. Now there's nobody to fight anybody. I also think like yesterday, guys, I went red on Arsha yesterday, and then I just swapped to a normal server with the bandit debuff, and I just said, "Come get it, pussies." And I just ran around in the desert and waited for somebody to find me, and then I fought until I died, and then I went to jail, and I got out of jail like a man. It was good content. Somehow I have more PvP content than anyone does now. Like, that's it. People are just hungry. Why is it Blue Squadron putting out like that, like open world PvP content? What year is it? What are we doing? What the f is happening? Huh. At least in the past, you could throw up a war deck. Okay, we already read this. I also think it's important to note that a lot of situations that started over 1v1 grind disputes will always trickle upwards towards siege. Two people fight over a grind spot. One would win. He would call a friend to gain an advantage. Then the other guy would call two friends. Then the guy would call a few more. Then back and forth would happen until one side conceded or until both guilds were now fighting each other in the open world. There would be words exchanged, and then they might hunt each other in node wars or even take a fight into siege. This would create content for everyone involved. Yep. The winners would feel a sense of accomplishment with their win, knowing that their practice and hard work to progress their gear had paid off. And then the loser would get motivated and work harder the next time this type of encounter happened. It would likely end in their favor. I know that Black Rose lived on this shit. Black Rose used to just sit there and get hunted by everybody. And their entire motivation for life. And hate him, you might hate him. God, you might hate Black Rose, but you gotta respect the mental fortitude to sit there and grind while you were being run into the ground by every other guild. And they said, once I get my gear, then you'll see. Then you'll all see. And we did. And we did. And Snake did. These are the type of interactions that have been removed from the community, all in the name of trying to stop the 1% of players that actively try to grief. Removing the ability to feed people to mobs caused them to lose crystal was an amazing change. Yeah, the funny thing is, the only people that were upset about the feed people to mobs change was the 1%. You guys remember when that change came out? The comments on my videos and the people coming into my chat saying it's like end of days. I can't feed people to mobs and force them to lose crystals. I'm like, guys, this is a win. It's an amazing change. It wasn't just Goon, Johnny 5 and everyone was like, this sucks. I can't feed people anymore. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, what the That was a W change, bro. Nobody ever wants to stay around and fight if they're losing crystals. Also, the addition of the Marnie realm every other hour has allowed lower geared players to avoid these types of interactions. True. Pluribus announced in the most recent Idle Ball that they would be adding a guild tag system. This will allow guilds to choose their tag for their guild for different activities. With this addition coming in the future, I think it's time to bring back the old declaration system. Make it so that guilds need to tag themselves as a PvP guild in order to participate in PvP activities, such as node wars and siege, but once they do, they can be declared upon. If you are willing to contest nodes and castles for payout, then you will be willing to fight in the open world. Okay, here's the thing. What Pearl Abyss is going to counter with, and what the developers are going to counter that statement with, is we're trying to avoid bullying the T1 guilds if you're Cho Nation or you're digital. They don't want digital declaring war on nerds. Okay? They view that as bullying. And in fairness, there's a way to avoid this too. Okay? Assuming you fix the node war system so that people aren't dropping on T1s only, you can make it so that once you declare as a PvP guild, you can be decked on by everyone else that is in your cap of node wars. Whatever type of node wars that you're dropping on, every other guild in that type of node wars, they don't need your consent. They can just deck on you. Even one above or one below. You know what I mean? That way, if you have an uncapped guild like Digital, you can't deck a guild like Nerds. Right? Like, that's what they're going to be concerned about. That's why that's never going to happen. But if you meet me in the middle on it, that might happen. I would generally agree with you. Usually, you don't see Digi with Nerds. Alright? It's just an example. But, like, you don't really see Cho decking on T1 guilds for long periods of time. Even if they talk mad amounts of shit, Cho knows that that's just a chihuahua and they like to bark. And just shut up. You don't know. You don't know what you mean. Okay? Like, that's how it is. You really don't see that kind of bullying too much in the PvP scene. All right, you just don't see that too much. So like, I would agree with Zethian that like, if you declare for PvP, yeah, you should be able to be decked on, but you have to enforce your TOS, and you also have to change the protection system so that players in those guilds, if they're just like life skillers and they don't want to be involved in the GVG, but they want to they still want to come to Node Wars and Siege and help out on defense or whatever, they can do that. Okay, you need to fix the protection system so that those players can't be PvP'd, but you also need to fix the protection system so that those players can't participate in PvP. If you're under protection, you should not be able to show up as a shy to a GVG and buff everyone. Okay, that's stupid. That is currently what the protection system is used for, because the developers are ill. Okay, they don't understand. The protection system is completely abused, like across the board, right? It should be used as a way to keep, like, if you don't want to open world PvP, road runs both ways. They can't gank you, but you also can't participate in helping gank other players. Okay, so like, you can't help in open world PvP. All right, and I'll be honest with you, if you're under protection and you can't help with open world PvP, why the is the guild even keeping you? Okay, you better have a damn good reason for that guild to keep you. Like, you better be the shot caller or something, like me, right? Like, I wanted to be under protection, right? You better have a damn good reason for being in that guild, or they're just gonna kick you, right? But that's how the PvP system has always worked. Yet to kick one guild for free every once in a while. You're speaking the words of the heavens right now, Blue. Preach. I'm trying. You might not necessarily completely agree with what I'm saying. I completely agree with Zethian. I think that if you declare for PvP, you should be able to be one-sidedly decked. Period. Because the PvP scene really, like, you're gonna beef with people that are directly under you. Like, Soaked is probably gonna deck like Zerg because they know they can bully Zerg, right? Cho is gonna deck digital, right? Cho doesn't give a about nerds. Okay, it just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work. At least not in our region. In Korea, I think it's a lot different though, and that's why the developers hate it so much. In Korea, the Cho Nation guilds of Korea, they all do this. They just deck all the T1 guilds and they just shit on them all the time, and they crash their fights and they make sure that they're having the least amount of fun possible. That's how Korea has always handled their PvP scene, which is why the developers are cracking down so hard on it, which is why we see changes that we don't want to see. That's weird? No, that's standard. That's the Korean culture. Yeah. This also allows guilds to be more interested in life skilling and other activities and remain protected since they won't have the open world PvP designation for their guild. True. And give life skilling guilds rankings based on like their overall like rankings and stuff. You know what I mean? I will likely take time to add more as this goes on. This was just what flowed off the top of my head tonight. Thanks for the time it took to read it. Now I'm gonna go put my kids to bed. I'm just kidding. There's a TLDR. You made me read the whole thing. There's a TLDR at the bottom. What the fuck? Bro, you gotta put the bro. At least tell me that there's a TLDR. Like right here, TLDR at the bottom, right here. You made me read 11 pages and then put it down here. What are we doing? What the fuck? Dude doesn't know how to format for a shit. Can't even center his title. The same font. It's not bolded, not centered. Format's all wrong. Where's the header at? He's got the written by August 20th, 2024 by Zethian, though. This is cute. Guys, yeah. You guys can check out the Google Doc right here. Hopefully Zethian will allow me to post this as kind of like a react on my my channel. And if that's allowed, guys, comment down below what you think about Zethian's thoughts on the game. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree with my take on the game? Or do you think that I'm the idiot? Yeah. Okay, thanks, Zethian. Right on. Yeah, let us know what you think. Like, I don't think the Global Labs was definitely a step in the right direction. This doc focuses basically entirely on PvP. The Global Labs is a step in the right direction for like the PvE and like the global release aspects of the game. Getting global releases is a good thing. Nerfing Suckzerker is a good thing, right? Like it's looking better, right? We're turning the corner a little bit. Steps in the right direction. But PvP, I don't think has turned the corner at all based on the global apps. The AOS uncapped feature looks good, but I don't think that it fixes the current issues with Node Wars and open world PvP, which is what everyone's complaining about. And then they gave like a one-liner that just said, we're still listening to your feedback. I don't feel like that was enough. I think that's a slap in the face.
Well, even if
Man, shoutcasting this has to be an absolute blast. He's
Amazon
holding
doesn't
left
get
mouse
Lord
button
of the
right
Rings
now.
right out
Oh
the
my
gate,
god,
they're
big
not gonna
dodge
give
on the
up
step
on it
back
because
right
they
there.
didn't give up
Drinks
on
the
New World. If
potion,
they do ever
waiting
give
in
up on
block.
New World,
Another
that
left
completely
mouse
changes
button
the
from
equation
Aiden. Going
for
back
me
in,
personally.
pressing
Now,
the number
will
one,
New World
then
be worth
two,
returning
then
to
three.
in
Oh my god,
October
the
for a New World
follow-up with
Tournament?
the left
I think for
mouse
players
button
who already
again.
have
The fuck?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe MMOs
what's
are
going on,
struggling.
Soul Nation, and welcome.
Because we've got this guy putting out videos that says New World Aeternum, the state of the game. Maybe New World's doing well, right, guys? Surely at least one of the MMOs in our genre is doing well.
Welcome to.
I will say that Amazon tried to sponsor me to do content for Aeternum. And, like, I didn't end up actually doing it because I got sick. But, like, they asked me to do some things for the game. And I said, well, wait. You want me to promote the game as an MMORPG, right? And they specifically said, no, we want you to promote the game as an RPG. And I was like, wow, that is bold. That is super bold. To try to rebrand your game this far in is insane. That would be like trying to pretend that, like, we're going to steer BDO to a co-op open world. Oh my god, it's already on that way.
To another New World video. We haven't talked about New World here on the channel for quite some time, and that's honestly because the devs haven't been making content, and the content that they've been making has already kind of been played out. But that's been their whole strategy all of 2024, and that's going to lead us to ask some critical questions. Namely, can they rebuild the trust? And will New World Aeternum be worth returning to this coming October? And that's what we're going to explore in this video. If you guys like New World and MMORPG content, you're in the right spot.
I was thinking about playing New World. You know why? Because right now I feel like the burning dog in the house. This is fine because that's Black Desert right now. I've got the 3 bozo development team in Korea that can't listen to anything, watching the world burn. So we're all looking for the next game to go play. I'm hoping that I at least have some Black Desert Online content creators to go play Throne and Liberty with. Like, guys, do we all just want to go to TNL together? Like, we'll all just raid each other and take care of each other, and, like, it'll be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Like,
if you feel like these videos earn your subscription, sound off in the comments, just like MJK. I'm gonna butcher the name, Korofov, and as After Hours have
just come to TNL and Zergus. I don't think anyone's gonna be zerging Ethereum. I think Ethereum's gonna zerg everybody else.
said that they've earned their sub, so welcome in, guys, to the channel. We are slowly but surely marching our way up to the 20,000 subscriber markers, so I do thank you guys so much.
Yeah, he's getting there, bro.
This is the state of the game, and while we explore the answers to those questions that I proposed, I think it's important that we spend some time in the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. They tell.
Man, guys, oh, okay, New World is not it. Holy shit, what the Here's Black Desert. Guys, we think that Black Desert is doing poorly. Okay, what's he have it sorted by? 7 days. Okay, we think that BDO is doing poorly. Holy shit. Never mind. Get back on. This is like that meme. Hold on.
Ah! What about that ship? That looks garbage! The garbage will do!
Us running to Throne and Liberty, to be honest. Like, honest to God, it's perfect. It's perfect.
A very interesting story. Now, if you've seen any of my previous content, I'm a consummate defender that it is not a number of real importance, the concurrent player base, namely because people take and confuse concurrent for total player base. But since I'm not playing New World this minute, then I wouldn't actually count on this chart, but it does tell you the effect that the announcements in June had. And if we look at that, you can see a huge drop in player retention.
Oh my God, dude. Holy, this is the expansion, I think, down here. 77,000. Look at,
coming off of the hills of that announcement. Now, since the expansion released, we have seen a continual decline in players. This is natural. I'm never really worried about players stepping away from the game.
Dude, this is like Americans complaining about how terrible America is, and then we look over at Ukraine and we're like, never mind.
The real sign of health in any video game is, do they return, and are new players joining in the fray? And these numbers don't reflect that. But we can still extrapolate some important information. The June announcement, it's now been long enough. You can see here almost 20% in June. That's a 20% drop, followed by an almost 30% drop in July. And over the last 30 days, it's slow.
Positive mental attitude, guys. It dropped by 30%, but that was only 2,000 players because no one's playing the game. So, really, you didn't lose all that many people because there weren't many to begin with. So, this is a win.
Slowed down.
Glass half full.
A bit because you still have people actively playing the game because you can, and they are sticking with it. Now, content is king. When it's all said and done, the general rule, will these numbers turn green?
Console?
Yes. The question is how much will they turn green? Well, time will tell. And October is the deadline. So let's talk about what's been going on in the game in and of
what's
itself.
wrong?
They've had the console closed beta test. Now, I did not participate in the console closed.
Really? How much money did they charge for the closed beta? Was it less than $220? Less than $330?
But you can see here they're tweeting out some different stats.
$0? What? What is this, 2015? Idiots. Missed opportunity for money.
Talking about most popular weapon is the bow, followed by the sword, and then followed by the Void Gauntlet. Most popular archetype, Sword Bearer, Ranger, and Occultist. And for those of you who are checking out this video and you haven't been following the New World Eternum, when you start the game, you're going to have a couple of different archetypes. The system underlying it is still the same. Once you get into the game, you can equip.
The new expansion is free if you own the old one. Holy based. It's just like BDO's free. You pay like $1 for the game and you get all of the expansions. Boom. Easy peasy. It's so free. So free.
Equip the different weapons and create your own build. But in order to streamline the console experience without having to, I put, I guess, unneeded stress on players, they're creating several different archetypes.
BDO has expansions if you're Korean,
which give you some starting advantages. But in the long run, you're still able as a player to do whatever you want. Over 682,000 quests were completed. INDRA was the deadliest enemy, and enemies killed were over 3.6 million. Now, I don't know how these...
3.6 million? I have more enemies killed than that on my BDO account by myself. You mean only 3.6 million mobs? This is a rookie-ass number shit, bro.
These numbers reflect with what we've seen. I saw Jay actually report on this, so let's let Jay take it over for here, and we'll come back and talk about these numbers.
So it's a little bit awkward to show, but here we're looking at New World database, and they basically leaked the play numbers that were on the beta servers. Now, if you're worried about, like, you don't actually know what I'm talking about, there is a closed beta, New World Eternum closed beta on console only, and it's running right now. If you really want to get into that, by the way, you probably can. There's still a billion keys everywhere, I believe. But that test is closed, and you can only play it on console. I don't have a console, so I haven't played it. And
there's 19 people.
it looks like
Playing an
not many
SAE,
people are
bro.
playing it, to be honest. So there were a couple of things with New World Database. The numbers were sort of
Holy
revealed,
shit.
where you can see an obvious jump when the test went live here, right? It went from
Okay, all right, there we go.
4,500 basically to 6,000. And that actually appears to be sort of where it's steadied out. Actually, the numbers appear to have gone up here, which is a little bit weird. I don't know if that's just because it's the weekend. Because actually, when you have a look on it on a day-to-day basis, the numbers went down. But
Yeah.
then maybe it's because
Yeah, it's no wonder they tried to sponsor. Please! You'll have more people watching than we have playing the game. Please play the game.
EU opened up, maybe that helped. I think basically this was live when the servers went live, but this wasn't live, so you can see this first day might not actually be a true reflection. Maybe it is, because it does say 1,500 there, so maybe it is. Also worth noting, by the way, that the server capacity is 4,000. Obviously, they didn't get anywhere near that, but interesting. I wonder if that's to do with the new layering technology that they've probably been testing out.
This
But
is
the
New
point
World.
is, I don't know if you've seen this, I don't know if you've seen like Juiceloft's video. They were trying to give away keys for New World Eternum, and they simply have failed. By the way, this is my gaming PC. I only use this when I'm streaming or recording. I am subscribed. I'm just subscribed on my other channel, so, you know, on my other account. So don't judge me, you little sausages. But yeah, they've been struggling to give away keys, and I think that is reflected in the play numbers. It's not very high. Now, this is a bit of a controversial one. I think New World needs to turn this off. I don't think we should be able to see the console play numbers. A lot of other companies hide their numbers by releasing on their own launcher and stuff like that. Whilst I'm pro having the numbers, it lets us make informed decisions. The reality is, it also lets us beat them over the head with it. So I would personally
I think it's a little crazy that you can't even give away keys for people to play the game. And in fairness, I think it is really strange to change the direction of your game from advertising it as an MMO to just conceding and saying, never mind, it's an RPG and we're going to develop it as an RPG. That is wild. That is insane. New World is what, like 4 years old now? Something like somewhere around there? Like, that is really nuts, dude. Like that's basically what you're gonna expect if you try to do a pivot like that. Like,
disable this, but you know, I'm happy
it's
they
time
don't
to stream Overwatch. You have the wrong guy. Yeah, no.
for now, because it lets me see what they're doing. But yeah, if they're struggling,
Like, I don't play games where the corn artists for Overwatch do more work than the developers.
going to get people to play New World Eternum right now in a closed beta that's free, how are they going to get people to pay $60, $70 or whatever the hell it is? That would be a major concern for me if I was Amazon Games.
So Jay shares a lot of interesting numbers from New World Database, and I think this is something that we really need to break down and talk about. He asks a question right at the end of the clip, like, if they're struggling to get people to play a beta on the console, what is this going to entail this coming October? How are people going to be enticed to spend the 40, the 60, the...
I remember when BDO released on console, they just paid all the partners to play it, as far as I was aware. Vert played it for a long time. Morlin was playing it as well. Those were the two big ones that I was watching at the time when it released. But like, they just paid the partners as far as I was aware. Maybe they didn't get paid. Oh no.
$80, $90 on whatever version that they want for this game.
Only NA streamers got paid for it. Loser. Now we all are losers.
Good news, obviously, for the PC players who have the expansion, this is just a free update. And I think that's going to be one aspect that a lot of people are going to be very curious.
Wait, they didn't pay any EU partners to play on console? That's insane. What the hell? Bro, you know what's really crazy? Calpheon Ball happens for Black Desert Online. Our big release of all the big content that was like 2 years ago, right? For the year, they had it in Los Angeles for the very first time. They paid the NA partners to fly into the Calpheon Ball and paid for our flights and hotels at the Calpheon Ball. The Heidel Ball happens in France at actual Heidel, which is way more hype, and they didn't pay a dime to the EU creators to fly them in. There are far less EU creators, and it's far cheaper flights. It's not like you're flying people in from Australia, okay? Like,
about what has changed and all of that. And we'll be covering all of that here for you guys, by the way. So if you really are interested, and even if you're not planning on returning, if you want to make sure that you're up to date on all of the things that are happening, I'll be sure to be giving it my full coverage here on the channel. But here is the answer to that question, and it will be interesting to see. A service like Game Pass is going to be something that I think they probably need to consider using. Now, I would prefer if they actually just announced that it was coming to Game Pass right out the gate before the game even came out, even before
like
Jay's video.
He means like Xbox Games Pass, right? Is it not going to be on Xbox? Like what?
Came out, I wish they would have made that style of announcement.
Fuck Australians, that's not even real. That's not true. They're really good at breakdancing.
Because no matter what, once they make the announcement, because of people's lack of faith and trust in Amazon, which I feel, especially with how 2024 has been handled by the team, they've more than earned that distrust, and it's going to take a lot to get it back. Can they get it back? Well, if you think that No Man's Sky is in a good position, the answer is yes. If you think Final Fantasy XIV is in a good position, the answer is yes. It just is a higher cost level of effort when
that's good.
It's just easier to do.
I think that Final Fantasy is actually in a great position.
It right the first time. That's the lesson my dad
Final
always taught me.
Doing really well.
Do the job once, do it right, go home and enjoy your life rather than keep having to go back to that grinding wheel. But there is some real positivity here. Anyhow, I think Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, those different...
God, that's what the combat looks like? Man, that's rough, guys. Boy, oh boy.
Services, if New World was to kind of jump in on that aspect, New World needs players. And I also still hope that we get to see the numbers. We can break down the concurrent numbers.
Yeah, I do, Velvet.
Concurrency does not represent the full total player base, but it is still something very interesting. And in an MMO who needs players, that is, it is a little bit of a sign of health overall. Again, I always highly value...
They need more than a sign of health. They need, they need a big change. Maybe that, I don't know, man. I don't think that moving from an MMORPG to an RPG is it. I don't think that's going to help you, bro. Because, if you move into the RPG category, you're talking about competing with games like The Witcher. You ain't competing with The Witcher, my man. It's not happening.
Returning in new players, what is that level? How long does a player usually go on a break? I see in the comments, I have a lot of data as a content creator where I see
Path of Exile. Good luck.
People will be on a break for a year or 2 years, but then come back and have a really good time playing all the new content and then essentially stepping away.
What up, Blaine? How you
Having
doing?
an ebb and flow, I think, is a natural sign of health, and I think it's a natural thing. And that's where the team actually has more work. They have more work to do, not in the release of with the October New World Eternum release, but actually with what follows it up. And they are saying that roadmap will be shared once New World Eternum is out and about and in the wild. And that's what we'll explore here next in this video.
So he's pretty optimistic, to be honest with you.
The final thought regarding the console closed beta is some of these numbers I think are really high, and they don't necessarily represent what we've seen from Jay's videos.
118 players? 18 players? High? We just have different perspectives, guys. Different perspectives. In fairness, if you only have 2,000 total players, 118 players is 5%. That's pretty good. You know what I mean?
It is possible that you ended up having a smaller player base testing the game, but they had a hard time setting it down, and that's the experience that generally people have when they step into this game. It really can grab you. It really does have the hooks necessary to actually become, I think, an incredible MMO. But that's also where things get a little bit strange. But over on Redbeard Flynn, he points out a couple of interesting discussion points. So let's go ahead and explore
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm gonna end the stream. Get ready to go to work.